everyone. Nicole here from I Love the Glow Trots. Getting ready to start this live in 1 minute. Just waiting for my little cousin, Miss Efuru, to join me today. You know, I've never really been one to a big on going live, but I said this is a cool opportunity while I'm on this side of the globe. I got another 9 days, 8 days actually counting down. Hey y'all. Hey Belvin. Who else I see out here? I see 313. What up though? Someone joining from Detroit. I can't tell exactly who that is, but thank you for joining me. Just give me a minute to get ready to add my little cousin, Efuru. We'll chat about our globe trotting. All right. So awesome. Hey. Yeah, what up though? Thank you for joining us. So yeah, she should be joining my stream shortly. Here it is, 2:30 p.m. in the ATL. I got my ATL Airport District t-shirt on. We just had the Brewer family reunion the other week. Hey. Oh, I know exactly. I was like, I gotta change that. I need to start going live more often. And so I was inspired at our reunion. My big cousin, Keisha, she was saying, you guys should go on live together and do an interview. And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. She is a fellow globetrotter as well. So I just wanted to hop on here and had a chance to interview her, and she could ask me some questions. And you guys, you can see the Brewers, we have this legacy. Like I realized how many of us are into this travel industry. And she actually is a certified yoga instructor. Went to certify in Bali recently. So yeah, I'm excited. Hey, Belby. So I'm excited to interview her. And there she goes. She just joined. So let me see here. How do I add her? That's the $1 million question. So, hey y'all. Hey. So I'm getting ready to try to add my little cousin on here. Thanks for joining, everyone. So I believe she got to send an invitation to, here we go, review requests to be on my live. So I just then go live. There we go. Hey. Hey,
Hey,
girl. How are you?
good. How are you?
I am well. I'm so happy we're able to do this while I'm on this side of the globe. I figured it just made sense to do it now because, jet lag will kick my butt when I get back to Oman, and I don't know when you'll see our schedules will align. So, by the grace, we are here, everyone. Yeah. So, I know people were saying they were like, "You never go live," so I had to hop online. So I'm like, "I'm so happy y'all are joining us."
Yes.
But some of you probably already know me, Nicole. I love the Globetrot. Been doing this traveling Globetrotting thing now for 15 plus years. Lord, the grades are showing. But yes, I've been living abroad, traveling the world. Getting ready to go back to Oman in just over a week. Been home in the ATL, getting to see family this summer. And so I was just telling before you joined, we had the Brewer
Mhm.
family reunion. And
Yes, it
yeah,
was
we
so
had to
nice.
just, it was so nice right here in the
Mhm.
ATL. I was on a planning committee with that. As you know, I'm a travel advisor, so shameless plug. Okay. But so yes, and my little cousin Ifuru, like she is into health and wellness and travel as well. Like I said, the
Yes.
Globetrotting runs in our family. So Ifuru, go ahead and feel free to introduce yourselves to the followers. I know some people know you, of course, but go ahead.
Well, hello, y'all. My name is Efuru. I go by Miss Going Guru and I do yoga. And so I'm like really deep in the health and wellness field. For the family reunion, we had did yoga for like two of the mornings that we were there, and it was really, really, really nice. And I just kind of specialize, like I said, in yoga, but and also in holistic healing because yoga isn't just doing poses. Yoga is also sitting still. Yoga is also eating that ice cream today because you really want to. And the benefits are better than the non-benefits. So yeah, that's what I do. And I've been traveling doing yoga for just I feel like just this year. Well, no, that's not true. I had started traveling about 2 years ago doing
Hmm.
yoga. So definitely taking it seriously, definitely sharing the word, sharing the praise, y'all, and
Yeah.
just pushing mental health.
And that's so necessary. Honestly, we need a child because there's just so much craziness going on in the world. So sometimes we just got to sit back and breathe. You
Yeah.
can be on your mental health journey with just going for a walk sometimes and just like
Yes.
breathing and having that wellness. So I wanted to start off by asking, okay, so you've been doing yoga abroad now, like traveling with it for a couple of years. But before you
Mhm.
even became a certified yoga instructor, like, what inspired you to get into traveling? Like, I know before you did yoga, you
Mhm.
actually went to Spain, right? So tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, what inspired
Oh, I had
you?
to think about it. I'm like,
Mm, I like this question.
but right, I know. But I started traveling when I was about 13. No, before this happened, okay? I was really into YouTube and really into TV.
Hmm.
And people don't think these things will affect or benefit your kid, but it can. And so I was watching a lot of TV shows about just international friendships and going other places. So I was really obsessed with being young in a new environment. So I
Mm.
wanted started off by my love of boarding school. I was like, Mom, please put me in boarding school. And she couldn't do that. I know, right?
I didn't know that. Okay,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. I wanted to be in a boarding school so bad. But since she couldn't do that, she found something else for me to do. She found a summer camp in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it all started at 13.
Got
She was like,
you.
you know what, if you want to go, like, I'll drop you off.
Mm-hmm.
It's very affordable. I think you'll really like it. I'm like, okay, girl, like, I'm going. So let's do
Got to tell
it.
me but one. Okay.
But one time. So I went to go to the camp. She dropped me off. It was emotional. And then when I got to the camp, I met so many different types of people. These are people from Spain, but people from Ireland, people from Scotland, people from Wales. There was people from England. I had
Mm-hmm.
never like thought for real, seriously,
Yeah.
that I was gonna meet this many people. It was Canadians there, like
Right.
it was so beautiful. And the way that I was perceived as a young black girl was so different in Spain with all of
Mm-hmm.
these international children that I had not been perceived prior to. And while I was there, it was like a boost of confidence. I felt more free. I felt like I was living in the moment and not too worried about
Okay.
being accepted or not or judged or whatever for anything or for just being who I am, because not only am I a black American, but I'm also an African American. So it's like these things make a difference when you live in the States. But when I was there, it didn't matter. And so I
Okay.
really fell in love with travel like in that moment during that summer.
That is so dope. Like, I knew you, like, even taught in Spain, but I never even knew, like, your first experience abroad was like, I'm going to go to a camp. Like, somebody was saying
Yeah.
here, like, one of my friends, she was saying, I never heard of anyone asking to go to boarding school, especially at a young age. Like, I'm like, okay, you've always been unique and just like, you know what I mean? Just an old soul. Cause I'm like, child, who's
Yeah.
like, I want to go to boarding school. Like, but that's so cool that, like,
Yeah.
your mom was able to be like, you know what, I'm going to take you to Spain and you can have this experience at 13, because like,
Yeah.
like you said, like a lot of us, like African Americans, that just doesn't happen. Like, I didn't move.
No.
I didn't go abroad, think about traveling or, going abroad until like my late teens, like early 20s, like after graduating. So I'm like, girl, you had an early taste. So I love that. That is so
That's true. I feel like that's a
dope.
big part of our generation,
Yeah.
though. Like things are changing so much and the
Yep.
world is opening up. And so what
Mhm.
we see is different now. So that's what we want.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Y'all Gen Zers, y'all doing it big. I love it. Like, they're just like, a lot of people even not just my generation, but before me, like,
Yeah.
millennials and the boomers. People like my nephews like to call my sister a boomer. I'm like, y'all better stop it.
They,
But
she is not no
it's
boomer.
just
My auntie is
like
not no boomer.
I know that part. I'm like, y'all better stop it right now. But but yeah, the kids they out here making it happen. Like you said, the YouTube generation, and you got
Yeah.
Speedy out here traveling the world in his 20s and millions of followers. I'm
Hmm.
just like, y'all are doing it. I love to see it. That's
Yeah.
so dope. So when like did you start studying Spanish when you were in high school, or like did you get into it after school?
I definitely got into it when I was in high school
Mhm.
because it was, I don't know why. Oh, my
Mhm.
mom had told me, our parents, don't learn French. French is a dead language. Like learn Spanish. Spanish is I know
Mhm. She not
Spanish
right.
is second
Mhm.
most spoken language in the world. Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I guess. And so I started really, really learning Spanish in high school.
Mhm. Mhm. Awesome.
Yeah. And then, like in Spain, so what we did during the summer camp was we helped the Spanish speakers speak better English.
Right.
So through conversation, projects, we even like roomed with Spaniards so
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
like they can actually immerse themselves as if they were in
Right.
an English speaking country. Yeah.
Okay, so girl, so now that I think about it, you started teaching at a young age. Like, yeah, like even
It's a
before
good
you just
point.
had to look at that. But that's the resume. But yeah, you started teaching at a young age. So now let's move forward. Like when you first decided, like after your camp, when you went back to Spain, and you did you how many months did you stay there when you went back to Spain? Like later,
I
as a
stayed there for my full 90 days.
okay, okay,
So
okay.
like
Yeah.
3 months and a week or two.
And so the when you went back later, like I know I had sent you a copy of my book again, a book,
Hmm.
a guide to letting an
Y'all read
English
it.
teaching job abroad, and I was just so proud. Like when you tagged me, you was
Mhm.
like, look, I got a job in Spain because of your book. You was like helping promote. I said, oh, I
Yes.
love that. I absolutely love it. So I'm so grateful that like being able to pay it forward, like to the next generation.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that I've been doing it
Absolutely.
for so
And we
long.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. I feel like our generation appreciates like creatives and people
Hmm.
like you that want to put something hard, for the next generation. Like hard paper, hard copies. It doesn't matter if it's even online, but something physical, physical proof of, hey, this is how I did it. This is
Hmm.
what I learned from it. This is my advice.
See, exactly. Clock it. That part. So,
Okay, wait.
uh
So
yeah,
could you tell me how
sure.
you got started? Like, when in your life were you like, I think I want to travel? And then how did that
Mm.
idea grow?
That's a very good question. Thank you. You know what? Now that I think about it, I was young like you when I first started traveling, but you went abroad like much younger than me. Like my sister Ayana, my eldest sister, she got married young, like fresh out of high school, and she moved to California. And like we're 9 years apart. So, I was a preteen when she was like leaving to move to California with her husband. And
Hmm.
so, he was stationed out there. So I used to go in the summers to visit her. And I want to say, I'm trying to think, what was I like 11 or 12? Like, I probably went on one of my first, like, plane rides when I went by myself. Like, back then, they'll just send you,
So
like,
you
they'll
were
have an
brave
escort.
too.
That's what I had an escort. I was just like, oh, I'm going to Cali, so I was just like, I was so excited. So that was like my first taste of like, and then now I think about it, I was traveling alone, like, before I was even a teen. So I used to go to California in the summers and see her, and that's when I first got my
Hmm.
taste of just like, this is fun. I like getting on a plane. I like going to another place and learning about a new city then. But when
Hmm.
I first started traveling abroad, wow, let me think about it. Like I went to the Caribbean, probably like spring break, like when I was in university, so like
Oh,
19,
that's
20.
nice.
But when my first like big international trip, ironically enough, was to Japan. Like I had a few girlfriends that were teaching English in Japan,
Okay.
and I was still I'm trying to think. I was still working. I was doing market research back then. So me and my girl Erica, we actually went to Japan to visit my girl Lisa. And we had two other girlfriends who were my girl Erica, two Ericas, my other girlfriend Erica, and then like I had three girlfriends that were teaching in Japan at the same time.
Oh
And so I
wow.
was like, there's no possible way I can't go to Japan and see like all of these girls teaching over here that I'm cool with. So that was my first like big international trip. I got a taste and went to Japan, and then after
Mhm.
that, ironically enough, like a few years later, I ended up losing my job.
Right.
I used to work in market research. I was laid off, and this was like back in one of the first recessions.
Right. What year was this? Was this?
I got laid off. It was like 2008, and then like by
Yeah.
2009, I would say it was like 5, 6. Because I remember it clearly. It was like my
Mhm.
unemployment was supposed to run out, and I was just like, I need a
Yeah.
job. I gotta go. Like I never had a problem getting a job before, but it was so tough during 2009. So I was like,
Hmm.
I'll go abroad. I think that's a cool idea. Like I had girlfriends who done it. They raved about it. So in my mind, I was only going to go for 1 year, and then here we are, 15 plus years later, and I'm still gone. So that's how it literally started from like one of the worst experiences, like getting laid off, to actually
Yeah.
being a blessing in disguise. Like, and I'm just living my best life traveling the world. And, I
Mhm.
said 1 year turned into two turned into over 10. Like, literally, it was just like, this is such a fun experience. I love it. Never really thought myself being a teacher for
Yeah.
this long, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's been great. Like, I'm loving it. So here we are. Yeah.
Question to that. What I'm
Uh-huh.
really curious to know is how was the world in 2008 when you were traveling?
Ooh. Well, it's interesting because like actually, when I left the States, it was like early 2009. That was the year that Obama, like, I remember I was still in
Hmm.
Chicago. Obama had just got elected when
Yeah.
so I was late 2008, he was elected. And then so literally, I was gone ever since, like, he actually went into office. Like, by the time he was going into office is when I left. So it was
Yes.
interesting time, like, thinking about back on it, just like, people like, oh, where are you from? Obviously, they hear the accent, but it's like, I'm American. And they were like, oh, Obama. Like, everybody was so excited because Obama was just becoming president. And it's
Right.
just so interesting, like, thinking back on that time to like now, like I'm like I don't even want to necessarily let people know, because
I'm
I'm like they like ooh Trump. I'm
from,
like child. Times have changed. I will
yeah.
say people used to be so excited to be like oh, and then the fact that I was like I'm an
Mhm.
American and I live in Chicago. I'm like yeah, I literally like passed by it. Like I live in the South Shore. I was like I'm from where Obama. Like I live where Obama. So people used to just always be like oh that is so amazing. Like they just
Mhm.
used to love to like come across Americans, and like I said, times have changed a little bit. Just a touch.
True.
Yeah, with everything that's happening in the world. Child. That's the whole other story.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it was great. Like when I first got to Korea, I was just so excited to like be immersed in like a new culture and
Yeah.
some of my expat friends that I met when I first got to Korea, like we're still cool to this day. Like even when I go to Chicago in the summer, like I
So
meet my
good.
boy Randy and different people. So like those
Hmm.
relationships are like long lasting. Like I've kept those friendships. So I love it. Yeah,
That's
I've met some
good.
amazing people during my travels. Yeah, yeah. So let's see. Okay, so my next question. What's something about the culture, like when you went to Spain, about the
Hmm.
culture that took real time to adjust to? Like, did you have any? Because I feel like I remember, like you had a lot. I remember you had one video, and you had a little bit of a culture shock. Like it was a little bit of like,
When I went to
difficulty. When you were
when
to
I
Spain, right?
when
When
I
you
was
had
in
the
Spain.
I thought it was in Spain. I remember you were like dealing with some. I don't know if it was culture shock or like just a little bit. You just feeling down, right? Like
Mhm.
it was a bit of a challenge being away from your family. Like, how did you adjust during that period?
If I'm being honest, I have to think hard to think
Mm,
about a culture shock that
mm-hmm,
I had in Spain
mm. That's a good
because
thing.
I don't remember the video that you're referencing.
Right, right. Oh, that's
And I'm
fine.
like, and now I'm trying to think like, what's something about Spain that really took me for a loop?
Mm-hmm. If
Hmm.
there's none, that's a great thing. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay,
Because I
okay.
feel like the biggest thing, I had a really big culture shock in my more recent travels, not to
Oh,
Spain, but in Brazil.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm getting confused. It could be Brazil that I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
Because it
Brazil
is more recently.
was,
Okay, so just tell me about Brazil. I'm getting confused. That's what it was. It was Brazil. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
was so insane. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically like I'm from the South.
Mm-hmm.
When you see somebody, you wave, you smile, you might even speak, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, just to me, just good vibes on the way. And
Right.
because I personally adopt that as a good vibe, genuinely, not to be fake or anything,
Mm-hmm.
just to
Mm-hmm.
genuinely just be like, yeah, it's a good day, it's a good day. When I got to Brazil, the way that they talk, their sauce,
Mm-hmm.
their flavor, and it's not all of Brazil, it was
Yeah.
mainly Rio.
Okay.
And it's like the way that cariocas, which is what people from Rio are called, they
Uh,
speak and they talk and just their grace. It's more like, hey, if you ask me for help, I give it to you, but please stop looking at me and don't tell me good morning.
wow. Okay then. You look like
Like,
this is totally different energy when I'm used to.
oh my gosh, wasn't
Gotcha.
it? And it's like, because I didn't speak the language well, I couldn't tell what they were saying. And like, their faces sometimes tell you what they're saying, but not really. It's not like a
Right.
pleasant treat, like a pleasant face where it's like, oh, No, no,
Right.
no. It's
Right.
more like, okay, so you have to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth.
See. Right.
Kind
Right.
of face. And so if you don't know what's coming out of their mouth, you won't really get the context.
Uh
And
huh.
that was really hard for me to adjust to. And I just felt like a little alone for the first time in a long
Mm-hmm.
time. I felt like I don't know. It was just like this deep feeling of feeling alone because this time I went by
Mm-hmm.
myself. I didn't know the
Gotcha.
language. I came later for the program I was in. So I was like, uh-oh, I didn't do the bonding time with the other
I,
international kids.
right.
So it was very sticky. And I
I
feel
gotcha.
like
Mm-hmm.
ultimately what I learned from that adjustment was just this confidence in myself
Mm-hmm.
that I gained
Yeah.
because going through that and putting in the effort to know the language or to understand the people, their hand gestures, what they're saying, it really changed the chemistry in my brain. And also,
Mm-hmm.
Rio teaching me how to change I call it autopilot
Yeah.
because I'm from the South. I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. And even if
Right.
somebody says something rude, I have to like take a second and be like, oh wait, that was rude. When I
Mm-hmm.
was in Rio, I learned kind of not to focus on saying things that are pleasant to people just because I want to be pleasant to people, or
Right.
saying more things that are honest to the situation in my response, or not giving a response at all if I don't have one. So
Right.
it was a
Mm-hmm.
culture shock, but it ended up building a really strong foundation in my character.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a character building moment. I can understand that completely. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that, and it's so funny you say that because like I think about my time like living abroad and like you grew up in the South. Like I'm from from Detroit or whatever. So it's just like and you
Yeah.
live in Chicago. So like I'm used to like big city. Like I'm used to just like go 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 go. And I feel
Hmm.
like I've like slowed down a bit in my time, especially being in the Middle East. It's just like the vibes there, and I feel like they've grown on me. And just like people are like, oh, you Almighty, now you've been here so long. You know what I mean? So it's just like I've slowed down and just like, oh, inshallah. Like what will be. Like I'm just
Hmm.
not as stressed as I used to be. And so that's like something that's changed as far as like big city living compared to like,
Yeah.
being in a smaller town in the Middle East. And so that's the thing, just having these lived experiences, being in other countries, like you will adapt, you will change over time. And that's the
Absolutely.
thing, that's what we're here to grow. We're here to learn, right, from other people and their experiences. So that's so
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I love that. Okay. All right. So um, yeah, you actually just answered the question I was talking about, like feeling lonely or what have you. But
Hmm.
as like, so for me, for example, right now I'm in Atlanta. Like this is home, because my family's here. But at the same time, I feel like a visitor when I come home every summer. because
Yeah.
like this isn't home. Like I haven't lived in the States in so many years. So it's always that unique dynamic of like, okay, what is home? Like how do you define home?
I
Right?
was
You know
just,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So like I'm
Hmm.
curious like from you, your experiences like traveling and like studying abroad and working in different places, like how has the experience just changed your definition of home? Because I know it's difficult for me
Yeah.
to describe what home is. When people ask me that question, so how would you describe home?
That's crazy because as you were asking the question, I'm like, actually, as someone who hasn't found my permanent home away from America, I really wonder for you, like, I know, right? It's so crazy
Right.
because I more have the curiosity of like, you feel like you're visiting. Is that because like your heart is in Oman? Like, is
Mhm.
it who you see yourself as and how you want to be? Is that over there? Like, is that lifestyle? Does that feel more at home for you, like in the heart?
Good question. It's hard for me, truth be told, because it's like, uh, it's weird because like when I try to tell my story, people are just like, I'm American at the end of the day, so this will always be like in my blood. Like I tell people, I was like, I'm Detroiter through and through. Like that's just how I
Yeah.
move. That's how I move. So yeah, so like for me, um, it's hard to say call one place home because I've
Okay.
been living abroad now for 15 plus years. So it's just like, oh, mine has been my home. I always call it my home away from home. So it's just
Hmm.
like I don't feel like I have a definition of just like one place is my home, right? Like I'm an American, but then I'm an expat, and I've been living in different countries, traveling the world, having these different experiences. So I like to call myself like a global citizen. At the end of the day, I
Yeah.
tell people I was like I'm
Okay.
a global citizen. It's just like I'm grateful to have this little blue passport because there's a thing called passport privilege. We have that as Americans that we are
This is
able
true.
to pick up and go and get visa free, travel to over 100 countries, but also to have this opportunity to get jobs in other countries because we speak English and people want to learn
Yes.
English. So it's just like I don't feel like I just have one home. I'm a global citizen at the end of the day. So I got my family here in the States.
Mhm.
This will always be like the original home, but then I got my Omani home and I've lived in Korea, that was home, and South Africa was home for a few months. So it's just like I've had it's hard for me to just be like I have one home. Like I have all
Yeah.
global lived experiences. So it's just like what do I do?
That's not.
like
Well, have you ever gone
yeah.
anywhere and felt like, oh, this place resonates more? Or is it like you said, more like, they
Mm.
all resonate?
They resonate in different ways. Like I
Hmm.
had such an amazing experience in like South Africa. Like I always tell people like I think maybe in a previous life I used to be South African because like I
Hmm.
always vibe. I don't know what it is. South African just got such a vibe. So it's like a lot of my friends in Oman are South African.
Yeah.
And so like I felt home. Even I was like only there for a few months, but that was long enough.
Yeah.
I had an internship. I was hopping on the bus, getting on a dollar and going downtown and going to work. So I felt South African, even though I wasn't. But so it's like I that's one of the places I'm just like I could see myself living eventually at
Yeah.
some point. But and again, Portugal is my dream destination to retire in. So I'm at
Yeah.
the mindset right now, like inshallah, let's see what the future holds. Like, if the right opportunity presents itself, I might end up in Portugal. I was just posting to my group, All of the Globetrot, yesterday. Rwanda is high on my list to check out because I've heard so many amazing things. So I'm like, I might end up
Hmm.
in Africa. So let's just see
Yeah.
what the future holds, when it comes to that. But home is where I make it at the end of the day. That's the way I look at
I
it. So
like that. I think for
yeah.
me, at the beginning of my journey, I feel like home hasn't felt like the United States for me,
Mhm.
besides the fact that my family's here and I grew up here. Like,
Yeah.
I personally resonate with my family from Detroit. So it's
Hmm.
like, something about that mentality I will absolutely take with me everywhere I go.
Hmm.
Everywhere. I think what I've picked up and learned living in the South is, like I said, the pleasantries and just understanding certain social cues in these different spaces. And it's like these are things that I'm taking with me, but when I come back,
Right.
I feel like I'm thinking about where am I going next.
Mm.
I'm always
Wow.
like, what's
Right,
the next place? How am I going to get there? Who cares? What's
right.
the
I'll figure
next
it out.
place?
Oh, child.
Right. I'll
You
figure
don't
it
stop by
out.
me. I'm
What
like,
I want to
listen.
do, I bet I could do that abroad.
Never. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. Like I said, even though I'm quote unquote home, I'm just like, okay, where's you next? Like, what is the next destination? So I can relate to that. I overstand, child.
Yes.
um, I'm trying to think. Do I have any other questions? So, is there anything about your experience, like, okay, we've talked a little bit about Spain, we talked about Brazil. So now,
Mhm.
what about when you did your certification, your training in Bali? Like, how long did that take? Like, what was that experience like for you?
That took about 3.5 weeks. So I was in
Mhm.
Bali for all of January, and that
Mhm.
experience was very beautiful.
Mhm.
And it was so less dramatic than I thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
It it's like Balinese people, Indonesian people are very connected with their island, with their land, with their trees, with everything. It reminds me of how I always learned about Native Americans.
Mhm.
And then I
Mhm.
realized that it's actually an indigenous thing.
Yeah.
And that indigenous spirit of respecting the land and the
Mhm.
animals,
Mhm.
and also respecting yourself as a well rounded being. Like being in Bali taught me that I don't have to be ashamed of my anger. I
Mm.
don't have to be ashamed of my sadness.
Love that.
I need to express these things. I need to let them go because the more you let them go, the more things can come in. Like you have
Mm.
to free that space. And so
Yeah.
getting my yoga certification felt like, okay, yes, I have the certification, but also now I have the, for me, it's spiritual. For me, I have the spiritual experience or foundation, the spiritual foundation to go, okay,
Mhm.
so this is me when I'm
Mhm.
mad. This is me
Mhm.
when I'm sad. This is me when I'm confused. This is me making progress. This is
Right.
this, I just
Right.
Bali really just taught me how to be nicer to myself.
I love
Like
that.
being
Yeah.
nice to yourself will literally change the
Mm.
fabric of your reality.
That's so real because, like, law of attraction is real, and that energy you put out is what you get back in. Like you said,
Yes.
to open up for our new opportunities, you do have to release, you have to let go because we want to try to attract and bring in more abundance. So I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you on it. Someone actually had a good question here. She was saying, how difficult was it to get used to the customs of other places? And did the people there have plenty of patience for you, not being from there and learning about them? Ooh.
Okay.
Do
I'll
you
give
want to
you.
start that, or you want me to answer
Oh,
that
you
one?
can start it.
Oh no, you can start. Because I got to
Okay.
think of. I really got to muster that. That was a really good question. But so you're
Okay.
ready, so I'll let you begin, and then I'll
This
I'll
one
go
I'm
after.
ready for because I've gone to two countries this year, and then Spain I go to all the time. Spain is
Mm-hmm.
one of my home away from homes.
Yes.
So in Spain, Spanish people are curious, but
Mm-hmm.
they are very familiar with American politics. So sorry to you, but whatever is going on in your country, they're going to ask you about, no shame.
Facts. Right.
And they're very inviting as well. They'll bring
Mm-hmm.
you to their home. They'll, go out with you at 2 a.m. after just meeting you at 6 p.m. Like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter because they trust. I don't know. They're just very trusting. So it's a welcoming environment, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes.
And then you have Indonesia. Indonesians are very kind. They're very
Mm-hmm.
loving and they're very honest. So they're
Yeah.
really spicy too sometimes, and it's fun. It's really fun. And it's like because they're so laid back,
Yeah.
they're not overly involved in whatever you got going on.
Yeah.
And it just feels good to exist in the spaces that they've created.
Right.
My while Brazil was so different. because also my culture shock with Rio was
Hmm.
how they remind me of the US, where it's like,
Hmm.
when people immigrate to the US or even study
Hmm.
abroad, they're like, ah, perfect, you're here, now speak my language.
Right.
That's how they do
Okay.
you in Brazil. It's like
That's
in Indonesia,
interesting.
they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, this is how you say thank you.
Hmm.
But in Brazil, they're like, oi, tudo bem?
They're like, you here?
Like,
What's up?
no, literally.
I love it. I love it. That's interesting. For me, it's like on that particular question. There's another question I'm going to try to get to after that. But Omanis, they are just like they're so laid back.
Mhm.
Like I said before, they're so chill. So it's like when they hear I'm American, they're like, oh, hello, sister. Like I felt embraced. But I'm going to be honest. Like I know, like I said before about passport privilege. I know because I'm an American. I know my
Mhm.
experience is probably different than some of my African brothers and sisters. I know it.
That's the
Like,
same thing. The
I'll
same.
be like, okay, well, if I said I was from Kenya, or if I said I was from, Ghana, like, would my experience be different? I know it would be.
Yes.
I've heard stories, so I ain't gonna get into it. But my personal lived experience is they've been cool. And at the end of the day, because I am an English teacher, they're
Mhm.
not like, oh, try to make me speak Arabic. Of course, my students they try to teach me some words here
Yeah.
and there, which is awesome. I love it. But for the most part, it's like they are here to learn English. They want to hear, they want to practice in English. Like my taxi driver
Yeah.
friend, he's the sweetest thing. He just always so excited. Just like when he has with me, he has his little English, his questions. He's taking quizzes, and he's just like, Nicole, can you help me with this? So like he's like, he's like, hey, I'm gonna get teacher time. So I want teacher time when I'm in the taxi with him, which is awesome. So like for the most part, Omanis like are really chill and they're not like trying to force me to be a certain way. Obviously it's a Muslim country, so as far as like culture is concerned, like a bit of culture shock when I first got there, but for the most part, I respect their culture. And I am going like I don't have to cover my hair because I'm not Muslim. They're respect they
Yeah.
understand unless I want some else. Obviously that's a different thing, in a religious place. But for the most part, I don't have any issues when it comes to like just being able to express myself. This is another question someone was saying, what's your experience of self expression been like in Oman from your point of view? You
Mm.
can express yourself to a certain point, but it's not a democracy. So there are certain things like I'm not trying to get hemmed up. I'm not going to speak negatively on, and I don't have a reason to because like I love it there so much, so I won't. But with everything that's happening now in the region, like obviously there's been more concern and more questions about like my safety and well being there. But Oman is a beautiful country, and even the things that are happening in our backyard. Like Omanis
Yeah.
are straight. Like they just they're not worried. They're like we're good. You know what I mean? So and
That's
that energy, that affection, like it just rose off on me. It's just like when I'm in Oman, I'm just like it's still a peaceful country even with everything that's happening. And I'm able to express myself to a certain extent, but like I said, there's certain things I'm not going to talk on because that's just not how you're supposed to operate in that region. Even I'm in the States, I'm still not gonna say nothing bad about Omaha because that is my residence for over 10 years and I follow
um,
their rules because it is
okay.
what it is. It is what it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to think, do I have any other? I feel like we just been rocking and rolling, Like, do you have
Yeah.
any other questions for me at
I
this
have so
time?
many questions for you. I was wondering if we could do another live where like
I feel
we
like we
kind of
need
focus
to.
more on you. Yeah. Because I have a lot of
Yeah,
questions just
of
about your
course.
journey and stuff and where
Yeah.
you're at. Because you don't only teach English, you do a lot of cool,
Listen,
dope
that
stuff.
part, girl. It's the Detroit. It's the hustle in me. It's in my blood. I might be Jamaican in the past life too, because I got about I
No.
don't know 3, 4 teachers, travel advisor,
Mm-hmm.
influencer. I got a few jobs under my belt. So yeah, we can
Author.
definitely do this again. Offer, yeah, right. See, I'm leaving out the titles, but yeah, we can definitely do this again. Would y'all join us next time? I see some names on here, some folks. Hopefully you will. All right. What is your experience of East Africa? Yeah, I'm trying to get to see more African countries, but I've been to like 8, 9 African countries. So
What
I'm so
all?
grateful. I'm so blessed to like be in Oman and be able to have this experience traveling
Yeah.
throughout the world. I love it. So
What all African countries have you gone to?
Let's see, what's too much of East Africa. I've been to Kenya. Kenya was actually my first African country. I've been to Kenya. I've been to Tanzania, Zanzibar a couple times because Oman is like nowhere from Zanzibar. Um, kidding. I've been to Seychelles, Namibia. Yeah, Seychelles is so beautiful there. Oh my gosh, I love it. Morocco, Ghana, girl. So we definitely gonna have to do this again. Yes,
See,
we are saying please do, but that'll be fun. Yeah, yeah, we will definitely dive into some more travel stuff, some more questions. This has been fun. Yeah. Oh,
we
that's
gotta get
great
into the
to
nitty
see it
gritty.
here. Yeah, definitely, definitely. You just touched upon the surface right now, y'all.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's been fun. So, alrighty, I think we are going to wrap up. But thank you,
Yes, I can't see
Guru,
any of
for
my
joining me
cousins.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah, this was
I can't see
awesome.
any of your comments, but
Oh, okay. Well,
thank
yeah,
you
people.
every right. I'm like, why
Yeah.
can't I see it? But thank you everyone for
Oh,
joining. Thank you for
yeah.
being so welcoming, and I appreciate it. You all listening.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, they said, y'all be safe. Thank you for going live. Until next time, we will do it again. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
for joining us, everyone. And we'll chat with you later. Yes, bless you too. Thank you so much.
Bless y'all.
Okay. Wow. Bye, cuz. I'll see two brewers around the world. I will chat with you again next time, everyone. Bye.